Hey YouTubers, welcome back to another episode of Bayonets of the World. I'm Mike B, and today we're going to be looking at the German Seitengewehr 98/05. So when the Germans adopted the Gewehr 98 as their main service weapon, they had the Seitengewehr 98 bayonet, which is a longer, skinny blade, and in 1905 or around there, they came out with this blade idea, and it kind of stuck with them through the First World War. We've got the butcher blade, as it's called, because of the kind of dip in the weighted end it's got there. It's got a lot of weight there at the end instead of just a straight blade. It's kind of like a pseudo falchion, kind of the whole idea of having weight at the end. I have no idea why that is, because this is meant for stabbing, not really hacking. I suppose you could use it as a hacking tool if you were doing a close range combat scenario, but the reasoning for this is I actually, there's so many myths and rumors that I really don't want to comment on that. But anyways, it was very effective. It was shorter than the S98, but it was stronger, more sturdy. It tended to not break like the S98 did. A couple people manufactured this. Actually, a bunch of people did. This one was manufactured by a really rare maker, Ankerwerke, which we'll try and zoom in there. This thing doesn't like to focus, does it? Anyways, you can kind of see that logo right there. And yeah, I decided to keep this one. Got it at an auction a long time ago. It came with a leather scabbard. So this is a modified scabbard, or one of the originals for the 9805. And it doesn't quite fit in there all the way, but it goes down to about there. And yeah, most of the time you're not going to see the leather scabbards like this. These are really rare, which is why I kept it. You're going to see the metal scabbard, the steel one like this. They're a lot more durable, and this is what they mainly used during World War I. Obviously, there's always the exception, but this is what you're going to see generally, is the steel scabbard. And there's only one way to put this in. You can see the blade has to face down. You can't just put this in either way like you can on the S8498, the later one. So, to put it in the scabbard, you just... And it's a really beefy scabbard and bayonet setup. Like, this thing is built to last and withstand absolute torture and hell on earth, which it did during the First World War. Let's see if I can find a date on this one. No, I can't. So, usually the dates are going to be right there on the end of the blade, but this one doesn't have a date on it. Anyways, so this is one of the bayonets in my collection, and I kept it because of the rarity of this manufacturer. And, it's in okay shape. A lot of these are going to be beat up like this because they were used. A lot of these were brought back by veterans of the First World War, U.S. and other countries and all that stuff, as souvenirs. And there's a lot of these. And then later on, I think they were imported with the remaining stocks of the Gewehr 98s, like in the 60s and 70s. So, yeah, most of these are going to have this, what some collectors call a quillion. I know people light me up for that. It's not called a quillion. It's a little hook right there. And I don't think I've ever seen a S9805 without one, unless the soldier decided to grind it down for whatever reason. Most of them are going to have that little hook right there. They're going to have wood grips with the little notches and the grooves in there. Kind of like the World War II S8498 bayonet. The Bakelite handles had the same kind of grooves, and the wood ones were just smooth. These ones all had grooves on them from what I've seen. Yeah, so I mean, this is the standard Mauser-style locking system. It goes on the bar lug, whatever you want to call it. And here, we'll measure this really quick. Let me go grab a tape measure. So we're going to measure the whole thing. And the blade itself is about 14.5 inches right there, like you can see. The overall length is about 19 3/4 inches. Here, I'll pull this up here so you guys can see. So the blade itself, for World War I standards at least, is actually a little bit below what the average one was, which is about 15 to 16 inches. But it makes up for it in the shape and the durability, the thickness of it. 19 3/4 inches is not a bad length for the First World War when you're comparing it to other bayonets of that era. So, yeah, here I'll just kind of display the two types of scabbards that these would have had. And you can see those. So yeah, the S9805, and everybody calls this a butcher blade. So if you see something that's called the butcher blade bayonet or World War I German butcher blade bayonet, that's what it is. It's actually just a Seitengewehr 9805. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, if you could give this one a thumbs up and then subscribe to my channel, I guarantee you like all my other stuff. And for those of you who already watch my channel and the viewers past and present, you guys rock. You guys are awesome, and I really appreciate it. And also, if you consider supporting me on Patreon, the link to that is in the description. For even $1 a month, it allows me to go out and find cool stuff like this, buy it, make videos on it, and go out and field test it like we've done with some other bayonets. So yeah, if not, that's totally cool. I just appreciate you watching, and if you got any questions, I'll try to answer them. It's a pretty basic bayonet, very common. So hopefully this kind of gives you a little bit of a know-how, and when you see one at an antique shop or whatever. And usually these run between $100 and $200 depending on condition, manufacturer marks, all that stuff. So many variables, but they're not a cheap bayonet at all. So if you're a beginning collector, probably not your thing. But anyways, thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time.